Most people don't start their like health and fitness journey wanting to like build and maintain and eat their macros at maintenance. Like most people don't go, okay, like I'm going to start this health and fitness journey. I'm going to, get fit, get healthy, make it a part of my lifestyle. I want to develop my physique and learn how to fuel my body. And so I'm going to eat at maintenance. Like nobody in their fucking right mind, I'm sorry, like most women are not like putting in 2000 calories on my fitness pal starting off. You're probably, and if you are, good on you, girl, because I know it can be scary for a lot of us a lot of the times, right? Most of us, what we do is we start this health and fitness journey, but like it's also simultaneously low key a weight loss journey. And we want to lose weight or we want to cut fat and we want to tone up. And like that's what most women desire is like they want to lose fat, tone up, build muscle, build their glutes, but like nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? And every that spectrum will shift based off of like your preference, right? Like some girls will like a little bit more curves, some girls will like to be a little bit more leaner, and I think that just comes down to preference, but also like your like what your body likes too. And so excuse me. And so a lot of the times, because when we want to like get fit, get healthy, a lot of the times it's also simultaneous with wanting to eat in a calorie deficit. Or even if our goal is just to like recomp or quote unquote tone up, you'll probably put yourself on these numbers. Maybe if you're at like the extreme and you're really short and you're like, oh my God, I'm really short and I don't move, I need to eat 1200 calories. That's also a lot of the times inaccurate. But a lot of those numbers are what? 1200, 1300, 1400, 1500, 1600, 1650, 1700, 1750. And like no woman is actually calculating their maintenance, seeing it and putting themselves on there. Right. And so like if you're someone who's relatively active, you work out 3 times a week, you walk sometimes, then you're probably going to need more than 1800 calories a lot of the times, or at least at minimum, especially if you're short. Right. But again, your height doesn't have as much to do with it as you think. I hear that a lot from my short girls, like, oh, I'm short. And it's like, yes, but also your metabolism's downregulated. So like you're short, but also your metabolism is so used to dieting. So like you're used to these low calories. And so a lot of the times when women want to break out of that, or they get into our world, right? They get into my world, they get into the embody her fitness and health world, where we empower women through education, right? Around nutrition, around their bodies, their metabolisms, how their body actually conserves and burns energy, right? They start to understand more about their total daily energy expenditure and how is, like as you start to increase your steps and your NEAT and your exercise and you're building muscle, like your body needs food, like regardless if you're in a calorie deficit or not, you need food, right? And so it can be a little confusing because we're all raised with these different programmings around weight loss and around achieving the body you want, right? And so one of those programmings is like, okay, like eat less, move more, lose weight, period. Yes, but also that term is a very basic generalized rule of thumb for people entering a deficit, but it does not take into account metabolic factors. It doesn't take into account diet age, diet history. Diet age is basically the idea that the more hard you diet and the more you gain it back and the more frequent that is, the more resistant your body is to that weight loss. Now, it's not that your body doesn't respond to a calorie deficit. That's literally impossible unless obviously, hormonal factors, of course. I'm talking about general population, healthy people. You just need to be more aggressive. And because you need to be more aggressive for your body to respond to weight loss, then it's harder to stay adherent. And because it's harder to stay consistent, then you don't really see the long-term results that you want. And it becomes this vicious cycle, right? And so a big part of what we do at Embody Her and what I do as a coach, what me and Coach K do for women, is we support them in unlearning the low calorie mindset way of thinking, because yes, if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. But also, and again, use discernment with what I'm saying, because everybody's in a different part of their journey, and the entire collective of whoever is listening to my podcast is not like, you guys are not on the same journey. You guys do not have the same diet history. You guys do not have the same everything. So take what I'm saying as a grain of salt, but just again, right? And so a lot of the times we're constantly we're losing and regaining the same 10, 15, 20 pounds, because we're really good at losing the weight, but we're not so much good at actually having an exit strategy and maintaining it long term. And so a big part of us being able to lose that body fat, build that muscle tone, and keep it off long term is by actually priming your body and your mind to be able to do just that. What I mean by that is, if you're just like, I feel like there's a lot of just like skewed ideas around like what it takes for that person to like lose weight. And a lot of us women, we're just so used to like low calories, right? And so if our coach calculates out our maintenance calories based on what we've logged in, and, you know, we calculate your estimated deficit and it's a little bit higher than what you're used to, a lot of the times that can be like a fear of weight gain come up, or a fear of like not losing weight. But that's so, it comes from the ego, right? Because it's like, it's just a lack of understanding of your actual metabolism, like your actual, how much food your body actually needs. And so I think a lot of women, they struggle to keep, I don't think, I know a lot of, based on my experience, a lot of women struggle to keep the weight off long term, because again, they're really good at losing the weight with these low calories, with all the extremes. And sometimes it may not even be extreme, but it's just like, you diet, you're just always dieting on and off, on and off, on and off. You know what I mean? It's like yo-yo dieting, right? And you're never actually sustaining that progress and getting to a place where you can like just continue to build on that, right? And so a big part of this is actually learning and overcoming your fear of weight gain and eating more food. And I think a lot of times in our heads, what happens is like, it's all in our head, right? We think that we're just going to gain a whole bunch of unnecessary weight, like eating at maintenance, or eating enough carbohydrates, or eating above 1,700 calories. And you know what I mean? Obviously, we're taking into account this person is going to be active. They're working out. They're getting in their movement. They're going to need food, right? And so that fear can come up. And what happens sometimes is we can have this fear and we can try to take control. You want to take control of the situation, put yourself back, or it can be tempting to fall back into old habits, right? It can be tempting to like, just do an extra hour of cardio, or like just do 30 minutes of cardio extra to like, you know, or like just eat less, or be like, I don't want to track, because you just low key don't want to be aware of your intake, and you want to like, you know, like take control of that, right? And so all of that comes from fear. It comes from fear of weight gain. It comes from a lack of understanding of your body's true needs. And don't get me wrong, guys, our clients have full autonomy on their body. Like if a client is speaking to us, we listen. Okay. So we will make adjustments based on like what the client also is saying, feeling, but we collect that data over time. And we also get to the root of like, is this fear talking, or is this actually how you feel? And are we stressed? And like, we look at so many different factors. Okay. So a big part of like actually building the body that you want and keeping it off long term is building muscle. It's getting your metabolism to a place where you can lose body fat on higher calories. What do I mean by that? I mean, let me try to explain this the easiest, simplest way. But our metabolism, our body is more like a furnace. It's more like a thermostat than it is a calculator, right? And I feel like a lot of women, when we approach our fitness and health, and let's say we want to lose weight, we look at our body as more of a calculator. And while energy balance does matter, the irrational fear of like, if I don't eat low calories, I won't lose weight, or if I don't eat low calories, then I'm not going to see the progress that I want, or if I don't do this, then I'm not going to get there. And it's like, that's not true. But the reason that we feel that way is because we're looking at our body like a calculator and not like a thermostat. Okay. Also, we're paying too much attention to the scale and not body composition. That's another thing, right? So we'll put so much emphasis on the scale. And while we do want to see a downtrend over time, we also want to pay attention to our body composition. I have a client right now, she's in a deficit and the scale hasn't moved. Like it's literally hasn't moved for the past like 4 or 5 weeks. But she's happy because she's like, I'm seeing changes. Like my fupa is going down a little bit. My waist is snatching. Like my glutes look huge. Like I see the changes in the mirror and I'm not going to let the scale dictate that because the scale moves different. I'm not going to get into the science of it, but there is a science. And so that's why education is so important and not like just regular TikTok education. While that can be great for like initial stuff, but like I've personally learned everything that I've learned via, I mean, I'm not saying everybody go out and like get licensed, but I've worked with coaches all my life, good coaches, great coaches. And so learning from, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a coach, but because I know the value in that. But yeah, guys, our body is more like a thermostat than it is a calculator. And again, while energy balance does matter, it's also the law of thermodynamics. So like our body will, let me not get into that right now. I could do a whole other video on metabolism and how that works. But again, education is going to really help you overcome those fears. And so if you're a woman that like wants to build muscle, lose fat, but you struggle to eat enough for your goals, maybe due to fear of weight gain or poor time management, or just like a lack of understanding around your body and, you know, weight gain, weight loss, body composition. Maybe you struggle to follow progressive overload in your training out of boredom, but you really want to build your physique, right? Maybe you feel like you need more 8-week challenges or to buy a new program or something outside of yourself to motivate you. But what you really need to do is let go of limiting beliefs, stop holding yourself to unattainable expectations, and allow your journey to be sustainable. Like, let it be sustainable. Cultivate that big picture vision mindset, because it can be so easy when we're used to a certain way of doing things. It's uncomfortable to shift out of that, but you desire that, right? Like you want to maintain your goals long term. So guess what? We're gonna have to take a big picture mindset. And this does not mean it's gonna take forever for me to see results. Like that is not what that means. And I think that's what a lot of people hear sometimes when I say that is like, oh my God, big picture mindset, it's gonna take forever for me to see results. Not true. Now, if you're not consistent, okay, that's different. But if you're showing up for yourself, and remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. Consistency just means showing up every day, doing the best you can, and holding yourself accountable, being radically honest with yourself on where you're falling short and where we need to dial in to see those results that you want. Simple as that, right? And giving yourself those chances. But a lot of times we think we need another challenge. We think we need another program. We think we need another PDF file. What I mean by program is a non-coached one, like an app. Like, for example, I kept putting off getting a coach because I felt like I could just do it on my own. Like I'm a coach. Like I could do it. I'll just get Evolve You or Rachel Dillon's app and like do it on my own. But really it's about those check-ins. It's that one-on-one connection that helps me stay consistent. And so I'm not necessarily talking about that. And while we do in our one-on-one coaching program we train our clients to be self-sufficient in the long run. That is the long-term goal. But a lot of the times we are just like, we need to cultivate, it's that delayed gratification. I would say like the main key mindset shifts you have to make when really wanting to build your dream body and like maintain it long term and go through that journey. Because again, it's not going to be like a start and end date. No, right? Like you might join like a 6, 9, 12 month program, but like your fitness journey, your health journey, your physique development journey, your healthy lifestyle journey, your mental, spiritual evolution doesn't like have a start and an end date. It's a forever thing. And so if you can just cultivate that mindset, it's a forever thing. Like it'll take time, but time flies, right? Like it's literally been how many years since COVID lockdown? Like Do we even remember COVID lockdown? Like COVID, the whole world shut down. It's crazy. It was like, what? That was only a year ago? No, oh my God, I'm tripping. That was like 3 years ago. 3 years! It's been 3 years since COVID, bitch. Imagine where you could. So, like, I always say a year in your fitness journey is like fucking 6 months in like fitness journey years, because a year is really not a long time. Like, it really isn't. And yeah, I just think social media has a big problem with that too. But let's focus on solutions. Okay. So the mindset shifts you need to make if you really want to learn how to like cultivate and embrace that long-term vision with your body and your habits and your mindset. It's about shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. That's the first one. So a fixed mindset, it sounds the way it's like literally the way it sounds is the way it is. So a fixed mindset is like a victim mindset. It's like very like there is no like it cuts you off from any solutions. It cuts you off from any opportunities to grow. It's very limiting type of thinking. And it's like basically this belief that intelligence, talent, and other qualities are innate and unchangeable. And so like if you're not good at something, you typically think you'll never be good at it. Oof. And so like if you just, are like, oh, well, that's it, you avoid challenges, you give up easily, you're threatened by their success, maybe you desire to, like you have this deep fear that you're not smart enough or whatever. I used to have that fear. You ignore feedback, right? Like you're always looking up a new information and you're like, why aren't I just girls, because you know what you need to do, but you're just not doing it. Okay. So let me pipe down because that's a big trigger for me sometimes, but it's not a bad thing. I think that's important to understand. It's if you find that like, damn, that kind of sounds like me, or like, no, I have a pretty good mindset, but like, I definitely deal with that sometimes. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just like, how can we cultivate more of that growth mindset? Okay. So growth mindset means you believe intelligence and talent and skill can be developed with practice and effort. Practice and effort. A lot of times people who have more of that dominant fixed mindset type of thinking, like they're very easily defeated. Like they're very like, they give up easily. They avoid challenges or right. It's kind of like that. They're ignoring feedback. Like they're not like, they'll look up all these tips. They'll know what they need to do deep down in their subconscious mind, but they're just not taking action. They're just not taking action because they're just a victim to life, right? And so again, nothing to be ashamed about, but it's just about shifting that, right? Because who wants to live a life like that? You're going to be 80 and look back on your life and be like, damn, like I am literally on the edge of my life right now and I held myself back. And so a growth mindset is more open-minded. At least it's trying to be, right? It's like leaning into that curiosity of like, how? Why? Who can I ask? Like a growth mindset it's more high vibrational, right? It's more of like that abundance side of it. It's persevering in the face of failures. It doesn't mean that you don't feel defeated, but it means that you don't give up. You keep going. You keep learning. You keep putting in the effort. Someone with a growth mindset will understand that effort's required to build new skills. So like that's beneficial to you in achieving your dream body, because guess the fuck what? You're probably going to have to go through a cut. Then you're going to have to go through a reverse diet. Then you're going to get to a place where you can maintain, and you might get to the place where you're like, I love how I look, but I want to build more muscle. And so it's like a never ending journey, right? And sometimes you're going to fall off. And so it's understanding that this is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I'm doing this for more than just physical results too. Like I know that as I show up and I learn the new skills and I don't give up on myself and I ask the questions and I don't try to be perfect or compare myself, then I will build the skills needed and I will get to where I want to be, point blank, period. Okay, it's finding inspiration in other people's success versus feeling like other people's success takes away from your own. It's asking, how can that be me? What qualities do I like, the things that I'm feeling jealous of? What do I feel like I can't have? It's accepting, feedback and criticism and having the desire to learn and being open and building abilities. That's a growth mindset. And any like crazy physical results you see on our page, just know they embrace that growth mindset. Did they all have a growth mindset starting off? No, but they learned how to lean into that and cultivate it, because I'm telling you guys, I want to shake anybody who's like kind of feels stuck in that cycle where you just, I just can't be consistent. And that's, it really comes down to, okay, like what can we do about it though? And what's the alternative? Like, what's it going to look like if we just give up? Right? And there's a difference between resting and giving up. And there's a difference between your goals and your priorities in life, like literally changing, and giving up, I think is also important. So it's not about, and then also it's just being radically honest with yourself, because a lot of those things can also be cop-outs. So radical honesty. But that is like the main mindset, one of the main mindset things. It comes to like actually sustaining your body, that dream body, building it one, and going through the process. It's going to take cultivating more of that growth mindset and shifting your thoughts. Because think about it. Imagine you're going through your journey and you're going through obstacles, but when those obstacles arise, you feel the initial frustration, you feel the initial stress. But then because you're learning how to like embrace more of that curiosity, it's like, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I do about it? What can I control? It's like creating peace and kind of just calm by just focusing on like, what can we control? Right? Versus letting it swallow you whole. And it's a practice. It depends on where you're at in your journey. But that's a big thing. Another thing to a mindset shift you have to kind of make when it comes to maintaining your goal physique and lifestyle long term is like cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is basically when your actions are not aligning with what you say you want. It's like the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, like with your behavioral decisions and attitude change. It's like you're saying that you want something so bad and you feel like you do, but your thoughts, beliefs are inconsistent. So you're contradicting yourself. And so the contradiction is also taking a mental toll on you, because you're like, oh my God, like I really want to go to the gym and build my body, and I'm tired of feeling like not confident in myself, and I want to be the girl, I want to become the woman that I look up to and all of this stuff. But then you wake up or you get home from the gym and you're like, like I don't feel like it, I'm too lazy, or like it's too packed, or I'll go tomorrow. And then it never ends up happening. Then you feel bad about yourself. And so it's like, okay, well, it's because you're taking action that isn't in alignment with what you want. Point blank period. Like a lot of the times when we feel shame or guilt, it's because we know better. It's because we know, and again, guys, take this with a grain of salt, because there is a spectrum to this. Like I've worked with clients where they actually need to relax. Like they actually need to stop being so fucking hard on themselves and like putting so much pressure on themselves. And then there's some girls who they're always talking about how they want these results, but then they're like not putting the input, and then they complain. And then it's like, okay, well, your actions aren't aligning. So maybe it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. And it's just not a value priority in your life. Maybe. And like, if you can get past your ego, like, and actually evaluate, like, what are my priorities in life? Like, do I actually care about this as much as I say I do? Like, do I really want to build my glutes? Do I really want to like tap into that untapped potential? And if the answer is yes, like absolutely, okay, then what do we need to do? What do we need to do? Maybe you need to get a coach. Maybe you've worked with shitty coaches. Maybe you're a past client. Get your ass back here. Like, let's get to it. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. But cognitive dissonance is literally that. And so a lot of the times when we're on this journey of losing fat, breaking out of the low calorie mindset, you know, building our body, building muscle, building healthy lifestyle habits, and learning how to like, you know, have balance in our life and harmony and have the social, like do all the things, right? Because as a coach, I know it is that what us most women want is to achieve their goal physique. It's not like it doesn't have to be anything that's unattainable. When I talk about goal physique, I'm talking about your body at its best potential, building lean muscle mass, right? Like just feeling toned and healthy and strong and confident. That's it. I'm not talking about nothing crazy here. Okay. And so with that, girl, if you see anybody who has a crazy physique on TikTok and you ask them how long it took them, it's always in the years. Like it's always in the years, unless they have like unless, you know, a lot of times people are a lot more consistent than you too. I don't mean to sound harsh, but like a lot of times people are just like really, there's some people like they want to grow on TikTok, like they want to grow their fitness journey. So like a big motivator is like getting to their goal physique so they can market it. So they're a lot more consistent, right? Versus like the everyday person who wants to feel confident in her clothes. And again, guys, you should fit your clothes. Your clothes shouldn't fit you. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Not feeling bloated, feeling, you know, like good in your clothes, period. And most women just like want to have like a nice glutes, you know, feel good in their skin, feel good in their body, feel good in their clothes, and like that's it, right? And so like that's what I help women do. But I think a lot of the times, you know, it can be easy to like lose sight of that long-term vision of like, okay, like here's what we need to do to get there. And that takes certain phases, right? And so actually within our one-on-one coaching program, we actually have what we call our 4-phase to fit process. And it's basically a proven method that we take with our one-on-one clients where we take them through 4 different phases, okay? And in each phase, we're periodizing their nutrition and workouts and habit, like we're focusing on certain things to help them lose the fat, build the muscle, but then also get their metabolism to the place and their mindset where they can maintain that fat loss, not on super low calories. Because a lot of women will lose a lot of weight and then they'll just try to like eat the same or just eat clean or whatever. And that's not going to work. You need an exit strategy. You need strategy to go into these things, right? Like anybody who tells you they got to where they wanted to be just eating intuitively, I'm sorry, they're fucking lying to you. Unless they have a great genetic standing or they had a lot of weight to lose. Because someone who has 50 plus pounds that they need to lose, it's not going to take much, you know what I mean, for that weight to come off. Like they have to eat in a deficit, of course, but I've found that with clients who have a lot more weight to lose versus someone who wants to lose 20, 15, 10 pounds, it's a lot easier. But then once they get to that like 20, 10, 15 pound range, they'll usually need a reverse diet or they'll usually need like their body isn't responding as much. And so that's why that's important. And so within these phases, not only are we focusing, and this is for all levels, by the way, not only are we focusing on upregulating your metabolism, getting your body to the place where you can maintain on normal calories and like you're used to it and you're hungry on, you know, 2100 calories and like you can get your body to that place. And that way, when you go into your deficit, you're not losing weight with like doing the most. You can lose weight smoothly, lose fat smoothly, maintain muscle, eating 1800, 1700 calories. You know what I mean? Or 2000. I have a client right now in a deficit at 2000 calories. Okay. I have a client who she's 4'11. Okay. And we got her to maintain her weight at 2000 calories. So that's because she gained a lot of muscle mass and she built the habits and her metabolism up and also broke free from the low calorie mindset, because it was the low calorie living mindset and constantly living in a deficit or under eating and overeating on the weekends that was causing her a lot of excess weight gain in the long run, inflammation, and just no energy levels and insane cravings. And so you feel all over the place. And so if this sounds like something you want to get a little bit more info on, you can DM me and I can kind of answer some questions, see where you're at, and see if I can offer any support, some free advice, and go from there. But in order to maintain your goal physique long-term, yes, it's going to take strategy, nutrition adherence training, not perfection, but most importantly, it's going to take a shift in mindset. change your mindset, you will change your perspective and outlook, and everything else will change for you. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you in the next one, and make sure to share. Bye.